If you know you want to have your own business, but you're not sure exactly what that is, what you really have to offer the world or how to do that, then this episode is for you.
Welcome to Follow the Calling.
Be confident in knowing how to get the results you want.
Be secure in knowing who you really are.
Be inspired by the possibility of the difference you're here to make.
Follow your calling and experience true fulfillment. So welcome to another episode of Follow the Calling. And I'm just going to start off by saying that emulating the success of others is the worst way to follow your calling. We know that you want to start a business. So did we. And if you're anything like us, you've been chasing your tail, trying to figure out these two things. What is it that you really have to offer? And how could you possibly put that into the world? And where this leads most people is down this path of spending lots of time, money, and energy taking courses and getting certifications that you either never finished or maybe you did go ahead and complete them, but they're just sitting on the shelf and not actually doing what you thought they would do.
Right. And we've done that many times, right? Like
Yes.
The amount of money and time that we've spent. Well, and not to mention the energy that goes into it as well, because I mean, this is our life, you know, it's like, It's not just time and money, is it? It's all the effort and the hope of, this is finally it. This is finally going to be the thing that makes a difference for me. And then getting to that point where it all just kind of fizzles out. And then maybe you get distracted by this other thing that then looks like, oh no, this is the thing. This is the thing. And,
right.
And what I was finding in doing that was the people around me in my family, or my closest friends or whatever, you know, oh, right, so you're doing another thing, are you? Yeah, do you know what I mean? And you know, who can blame them? Because there was me continuously starting things and either not finishing them or not putting them into practice.
Yep.
You know, so I was creating a certain lack of listening for myself in other people.
Yes. Yeah, I get that too. I have well, maybe not quite a laundry list, but enough certifications that I could tag on the end of whatever it is that I'm saying that I do. And I never really followed through with any of them. And the thing is, why is that? Which we're going to get to here in a minute.
New word. Yeah, we will.
Yes, new word. So the problem that we really feel like everybody is facing right now is that you will potentially spend another year, or I would say even another 6 months, not creating a business that's calling you.
Yeah.
And I'm so familiar with that too. I mean, that hits me even just saying that right now, because I spent many years knowing that I wanted to have a business, but feeling like I didn't know exactly what I should do. And I absolutely didn't know how to do it. And so year after year after year has passed. And I didn't start a business. And I would say that's also not for lack of trying. I mean, there was a time when I built my own website when it was not as easy as it is today. But but there was something else that was standing in my way, which we're also going to get to in this podcast.
Yeah. The thing is, isn't it, when you've got that something that's calling you, something that is in your dream, in the dreamscape, if you like. Yeah, I know that I want my own business. I know I want to be my own boss. I know I want to be in control, in the driving seat of my own life and determine what I get to do and spend my time on every day. You know, when I knew I really wanted that, even just the thought of another few months did feel like purgatory, because what that inevitably means is that if I'm not doing what I want, then I'm doing something that I don't want. Right. Because I'm never just doing nothing. Right. So if I'm not doing what I want to do, then you could as well say that I am doing what I don't want to do. So I could never truly engage and give myself fully and feel committed and fulfilled with my current work positions whilst, before we started our business together, Tiff. And it robs you of your ability to enjoy what you currently have. Well, certainly to the degree with which that's possible anyway,
Right. Because you just feel like there's something more for you. And that feels like the most dissatisfying thing. Because it's also just nagging at you, which again is why aspiring entrepreneurs and you and I have spent so much of our precious time, money, and energy just chasing our tails, wishing and hoping that the next book, the next course, or the next certification would finally be the answer for us and we could get going. We would finally know what to do and we would finally know how to do it.
What do I need to do and how do I do it? They're the questions that I was asking. Like, what am I going to do? And then it was such a painful place to be. Not only did I not know what to do, but I was like, well, how am I even going to know how to do it if I don't even know what it is? It's an absurd situation to find yourself in. But I just so wanted that feeling to go away and leave me alone so I could get on with my life, right? But at the same time, I kind of didn't, because I knew that was something that was so important to me. It was just that I really wished, if I'm honest, I just really wish I had the answer. But the problem was I was asking the wrong questions, right?
Right. Yes. So we've all been asking the wrong question. And rather than starting with, what do I need to do? Or what am I here to do? Or what do I need to do? And how am I going to do that? We need to be asking, who do we need to be? And the thing is, really, in order to get the answer to that question with any integrity, you first need to know who you are.
Absolutely. Because the thing is, if bringing that back to integrity, right? If we don't know what we're going to be in integrity with, how can we be in integrity? Right? We first have to know what we're being in integrity with. And if we're going to operate in integrity with ourselves, well, then who are we? Who are we really behind the mask? Who are we really behind all of the expectations of our family and our friends and our history and society? Who are we really at the core of our being before all of that? What is our purpose? What are our values? What is truly important to us when we remove all of the shoulds from our life,
Yes.
And,
I just want to add to that, who are we behind the person that we've become because because we think that's who we should be.
Right.
Because we think that's who we should be.
And the thing is, we end up being that person we think we should be for so long that actually we then believe now that is who we are.
That's who we are.
It's gone. We've done it for so long that it's just gone into the background. It's like, you know what it's like? It reminds me of brushing our teeth, right? You get up in the morning and automatically you find yourself in the bathroom just brushing your teeth, and you just you don't even think about it. You just go there, right? Because you've been doing it so long that your teeth almost automatically brush themselves, right? Or when you've been getting in a car, you're driving around in a car and you all of a sudden find yourself at your destination and you think, how did I get here? But obviously it's the experience of continuously driving and driving and driving. The autopilot can kick in, right?
Right. And I don't think that it's rare for people to have the experience of waking up one day and looking themselves in the mirror and asking themselves that question, how is this my life? How did I end up here?
Yeah.
I do not think that it's rare for people to have that experience.
Not rare at all. Not rare at all. Although when that happened to me, I felt like I was the only person in the world that was feeling that way. I felt
Right.
really alone, and I felt like I couldn't vocalize this to anybody, and if I did, I was getting some funny looks, and it was like upsetting the apple cart. It was don't rock the boat.
Right.
It was very much that's how I felt, both in
Oh,
myself and within the reactions I was getting.
and a lot of times on the outside, things look really good, right? If anybody were looking in on your life,
Good point.
they would see that you have a lot to be grateful for.
Good
And
point.
yet
Yeah.
you're still waking up and looking in the mirror and asking, how is this my life?
How did I wind up being this person? How did I
Yeah.
wind up here? And then,
Yes.
all you know when that's happening to you is that you're not happy. That's all you
Right.
know. And you then feel like you're saying, you should be happy. Like in my situation, I had a lovely family. I had a nice home. I had a good job that was paying a decent amount of money that we could live on reasonably comfortably. I had, on the surface of it, had everything I needed, and I just was not happy because inside I just felt empty and unseen.
Mm-hmm.
And that was something that I kind of shamed myself for. I felt guilty for doing that. I should be grateful for what I have, was what I was telling myself.
Right.
And I was grateful for what I had, but it didn't take away the fact that I wasn't happy.
Right.
Right. So,
Right.
it didn't take away how much I
Absolutely.
love my kids or how much I appreciate my house or an income, but it doesn't change the fact that I was unhappy.
Right. So you knew that you wanted to start a business. I knew that I wanted to start a business. We knew that there was more for us in life, and that what we were doing just didn't satisfy that feeling that there was more.
No.
It didn't feel like it was meaningful in the way that we were meant to be in this world. And yet we're still asking the question, what do I have to offer? And I think the other thing that's really important here is that, you and I also both feel really connected to music, and not that that's even what we're doing right now. Right. But there's, there's something out there. There's something more in that aspect that we felt connected with. That could have been potentially where we would go with things. But there are a lot of people out there who feel like they don't have any gifts and talents, right?
Oh,
There are a lot of people out there who feel like they have absolutely nothing to offer.
Yeah.
And I think that it's one of the most limiting beliefs that people can have.
Definitely. In speaking to all the people that we speak to doing what we do, that's one of the most common things we hear, is that I don't have anything to offer. I'm not skilled in anything. It's like, and I really get it. That's absolutely how I felt. I was not aware of my own value. I was not aware of what I had to offer. I had no clue that just who I am could make a difference to other people. I was looking for something that I had to go and do or go and get. And it was like, it didn't even occur to me that I was the value.
Which is another reason why people go get more certifications and take more courses, right? Because they feel like they need to definitively have, like, I have this certification now. I have something that I can offer to people. I mean, I will raise my hand right here and now that has been me on more than one occasion. It's like, well, I don't have anything to offer. Well, I don't know how to make this work. So let me go get another certification. Maybe that will work better for me. Yeah. And I don't know how to make that work either.
And also it could even be a confidence thing. So it could be that you feel more confident now you've got this certification. And that's another reason people get certifications and they don't feel much. They might feel a bit more confident to begin with, but it wears off again. And they need to go and get another certification to build that confidence back up. But that's not where the confidence comes from. Confidence isn't a prerequisite for action. You know, we can't be confident before taking action. We have to take these certifications and put them into action. And it's in the doing, in the action, that brings the confidence and the clarity. We have to be in action. But of course, you know, it has to be the right action. But just to come back to the belief of what you were saying a minute ago, that we feel is so common in so many people that we speak to, and that we had for ourselves. The belief that I don't really have anything of value to offer people, you know, and it's like, just to speak to that a little bit. It's like, if that's you, if you're listening to this or watching this, and you identify with that as being a belief like we did, I'd like to ask you, is that true 100% of the time? Like, have you never helped anyone in any way solve any problem of any kind? You know, have you never had a skill that was useful in some way to somebody in some situation? Have you never had a hobby or an interest? Is there nothing that you feel passionate about in your life? It's like all of these things are waiting, should I say, lying dormant in the experience of our past, waiting to be uncovered, to reveal to us what our true gifts and talents are. And it is in fact true, me and Tiffany not only believe, but we know in our own experience that everybody has unique gifts and talents, as unique as your fingerprint.
Absolutely.
And by that token, we can say that everybody has unique value that they have to offer, you know,
that you're meant. It's like that you're meant to offer.
Yeah.
And that can look so many ways. That doesn't mean that just because you know what that is, that there's a very specific way that you bring that into the world. That can look like a lot of different things for people. So it's not about putting people in a box, but it's about opening you up to the possibilities of who you're meant to be, and the gifts and the unique gifts that you have to offer the world.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, because if you can imagine a situation where you uncover the unique gifts and talents that you have that you never really realized was so prevalent in your life. The thing is, we do things in our life that to other people occur like magic, right?
Yes. And we take them for granted.
Exactly. We take ourselves for granted because we say, well, that's just,
can't everybody do that?
Yeah, can't everybody do that? I'll give you an example. One of my best friends is an amazing artist, both a graphic artist, a video artist, and he can really draw, you know, freehand as well. Like, so talented. And, you know, I've always very much appreciated those kind of skills and talents, but I've never really excelled at all in that way. So he one day he brought round this new iPad and his iPad pencil, you know, where you draw on the screen, and as you draw, it changes the thickness and thinness of the lines with the pressure as you press on the screen. And he just quickly went out, because he was just showing me how that bit worked, the technology side of it. And he just went, yeah, watch this, watch how you can change the thickness of the lines as you draw. And he just whizzed off this sketch. And I'm not kidding. It was like 5 seconds, and he had drawn something that to me looked like a flipping masterpiece. And I was like, I stood there with my mouth open, and I was like, never mind the technology, I'm marveling at what you just did. That is incredible. And he stood there, right? And he stood there and he looked at me and he said, oh, really? Anyway, so you can also make it do this. He just completely and I was like, no, hang on a minute. That was genius. That was magical. That absolutely had me spellbound, and it took you seconds. Now, not to say that we all have to have extreme artistic talents like that.
No.
But the point is here that who we are in our everyday lives is made up of so much value that but the point is, it's so normal to us that we just take that for granted. But if we were gone tomorrow, people in our life would miss us like crazy, because what they don't miss anything other than the value that we are.
Mm-hmm.
the true value that it is to have us around as a person in their life. And that's something that we can take into the world in a much bigger way if we choose to do so. And if you're thinking about starting a business for yourself, when the place to look is not what other people want or want from you, should I say, but it's like, who are you? Who are you? What's important to you? Do you know? It's like,
Right.
the questions to be asking is like, who am I? What's important to me? What do I want my life to look like? Right? Because if I'm going to go and build a business that's based on an idea of how someone else would do it, like if, let's say, I go and follow how someone else has been successful, right?
Yep.
We're talking about the fact that emulating others, the success of others, is the worst way to follow your calling and find fulfillment, right? If I was to do that, how did this person do it? They've created a 7-figure business, oh, they've done really well. What did they do? Oh, right. They're doing webinars and they're doing this and that. That must be the secret. That must be the thing that they're doing that actually makes it all work. But what you don't actually see is who they're being behind that business. What you don't see is that business is designed in a bespoke way to suit their higher vision of their life for who they know they are. And it's like those people are successful because they've uncovered at the foundation of their business, they've uncovered who they really are, and they've built their business out of that from there, because it is a foundation to build on, right?
Yeah, I think the important thing here is to recognize that these are people who have built phenomenal businesses and they love their business, right? This is not just about money. This is about that they're being wildly successful and that they're bringing money in, but they're also still in love with their business.
Right.
These are the kinds of people that we're talking about. They haven't just built well, the word that's coming for me right now is masterpiece, but it's not the word that I was wanting. But they haven't just built this, empire of a business, and just to make money. Like, that's come from another place for them, and they don't end up in that place and still feel the same way that we were talking about, feeling unfulfilled. Like, this isn't who I really am. There's something more for me in life. Those people that you were just talking about don't feel that way. And I think that really leads us really nicely into the other huge limiting belief that people have around this, which is that success will make them happy.
I mean, that sounds reasonable, doesn't it?
Sure, it does sound reasonable.
Success will make you happy. That sounds very reasonable, but in our experience, it's absolutely not the case, right? I mean, how many people do you know who are successful on the outside at what they do? It looks from the outside that they're successful. They've got a lot of money. They've made it. They've got a lot of status, a lot of power, and they're not happy. Even taking it back to my situation, I was talking about earlier.
I was just going to say that.
Right. Obviously, it's not like I had a 7-figure business and I'd made it financially, but I did have everything that you would think I would need to be happy. And yet I still wasn't happy. I had succeeded. I had ticked all the boxes in what societal expectations of me were. And it wasn't doing it for me. So go on.
Yeah, I was just going to say, so the question really is, are you looking for success or are you looking for fulfillment?
Two very different things.
They are two very different things.
And the thing is, fulfillment is the result of having your own needs met and living to your full potential. And
it's really that full potential thing. Like, that's what hits me.
Yeah,
I mean, definitely having our own needs met as well, but like living to your full potential, because it's the problem. Part of the problem that I had for all those years, it's like feeling underappreciated and underutilized in the jobs that I had. And knowing that there was so much more that I could do than what I was doing, and feeling like I was just basically cutting off my nose to spite my face, in my life. And that's painful.
It is painful. It's a really painful place to be. But, it's just to look at that success, like to take it back to the success part, right? If we have an idea that success means that we've made a lot of money, that we've got this so-called successful business, it's like, if you could think of a business as a machine, right? A money generating machine, right? The question is that machine working for us, or are we working for that machine?
Yeah.
And if we're aiming at success, then our happiness is dependent on that machine. So therefore we are working for the machine. But if we're aiming at fulfillment, we're already who we choose to be, and the machine is working for us. And money is nothing but a byproduct of who we are choosing to be. Money
And the
is
money,
nothing but a byproduct.
and the money that you bring in is really a tool for you to have even more impact in the world, for you to bring even more of yourself into the world. And that, again, those are the kind of people that you were talking about before.
Right.
We're just thriving and in love with the business that they've created. And the reason that they can be in that place is because they know who they are. So let's talk about the steps.
Yeah, right. Okay.
It's like we haven't said this enough already, but the first step is
Can't
for
say
you.
enough.
The first step is for you to definitively know who you are. You want to go out there and create the kind of business that we were just talking about. Be the kind of person who is in love with their business and bringing in the money and using that as a tool to have more impact on the world, right?
Yes, right.
I feel that in my body too, because that's what I'm here to do. And if you want to do that, then you have to start by knowing definitively who you really are.
Absolutely, because like we said, it's that foundation that everything's built on. If your business serves you, how could you not love your business? But if you're serving your business, you're going to be obligated and resentful towards your business. You're going to wish you never started it. It's going to be a ball and chain. You could be out of the frying pan and into the fire. Some people just create a business that they end up, really, what they've done is they've created themselves another job, but that's actually a job that's harder to get out of now, because maybe they've got employees and responsibilities that they can't just drop. Whereas before, at least with a job, you could just leave. But now what they've done is they've created a prison for themselves that it's even harder to get out of, because they've been trying to fix this feeling of dissatisfaction and being unfulfilled with going out there and chasing success.
So how do you go ahead?
No, please go on.
Yeah, I was just going to say, so how do you definitively know who you are? Well, we believe the way to do that is to uncover your purpose and values in a process that is based on the evidence of your life.
Yes.
Because that is unique to you, and that's where they're hiding. That's where they're hiding. It's not that they don't exist until you decide what they are or whatever. They've always been there. It's just you're too close to them to see.
Yeah.
And so, you were speaking about this a little bit already, Andy, but what happens if you don't discover who you really are? If you don't definitively know who you really are?
If you don't, then you're going to be continuously doubting yourself, basically, because that bit you were just speaking about there, about uncovering who you are in the evidence of your life. It's the fact that it's in the evidence of your life that removes the doubt. This isn't something that we just make up because we like the sound of it. This is something that exists, and that there is empirical evidence for, if we know where to look. And once that's uncovered, it removes the doubt. But if that's not done, you just end up continuing to doubt yourself, remaining unfulfilled, and therefore you're going to continue to be distracted buy all of those courses and certifications, and convinced that something out there is going to be the answer. Oh, this looks like it will take that feeling away. Oh, finally, yeah, this could be the thing that I'm going to go and do that I could earn some money from. And there's going to be continuously driven by these distractions and not finishing them, or finishing them and not putting them into action, because you doubt yourself.
Yeah.
And you doubt yourself because you don't know who you are.
That's right.
When you have nothing to be in integrity with, you cannot live a life of integrity. You have to know what you're being in integrity with. You have to know who you are to build that foundation on first, or else all you're left with is doubt. And doubt kills dreams.
Absolutely.
Doubt is the dream killer.
I wish I could remember that quote. It's a really good one.
I think it's doubt kills more dreams than failure, I think, or something like that.
Yes, doubt killed more dreams than failure ever could.
Ever will. Yeah.
Ever will. Something like that. Yes. I love that. So the next step is to, once you know who you are, once you've uncovered your purpose and your values, you have to put those things into practice. You have to bring those things into your life. Because if you don't, they're really nothing more than pretty words on a page.
Yeah,
they're really nothing more than pretty words on a page. So we have practiced for so long being who we thought we should be to have success in our lives, right? And that's what led you to one day waking up and looking in the mirror and saying, how did this become my life? You practiced that. And because you're so removed from who it is that you really are, you have to practice being that too. You have to build a relationship with your purpose and your values.
It's practicing it and putting them into action in your everyday life that brings meaning to your life, because you bring a certain level, hopefully complete intentionality to your life. You're now living on purpose. You're now being at the cause of your life rather than at the effect of your life. And what I mean by that is, before I uncovered my purpose, my purpose, by the way, is to kindly and respectfully give others the perspective and confidence to create a life they love, so that they have the opportunity to live fulfilled in making a worthwhile difference. Now, before I knew that that's who I am at my natural best, I was basically at the effect of my life, because results for me were something that were just there and that I just I just had to deal with and make the best of. Since uncovering my purpose and knowing who I am at my natural best and living intentionally in alignment with that, results are now something that I get to determine. Right? So I'm now responsible for my own results. I can be responsible for my own results because I've got something I know I can be in integrity with, to live in alignment with. But it takes something to be that person every day. And do I fail? Yes, 1,000 times a day. But I then recommit to being in alignment with who I know I am at my natural best. And by doing that, I put myself back on the path, back on course, constant course correction.
Yes.
Aligning myself with who I know myself to be.
Right. We talk a lot about a goal is a place to come from, not a place to get to. And it's also about asking the right questions. So when there's lots of noise going on upstairs. So when I think about receiving my purpose, which is to uplift and give others permission to believe in themselves so they're inspired to confidently dance and sing in the light of knowing they can choose to follow their heart's calling. When I think about when I received that, it gave me a goal. It gave me a place to come from in my life so that I could begin to ask myself questions like, who do I need to be? And I had a reference for who that was. And then the other piece of that is the values, right? Something to ask myself in every situation where things might have felt difficult or challenging for me is, am I acting in alignment with my values?
Yeah.
Am I acting in alignment with my values that in a way that is empowering me, which is really what I mean by alignment. But that
Right.
feels like an important piece to add in there. And so for me, in asking myself those kinds of questions, I could see where values in my life were, I was completely letting them disempower me because I was looking for other people to fulfill that for me. And then the same thing for my purpose. The first part of my statement is to uplift and give others permission to believe in themselves. And I was looking to other people to do that for me so that I could go be the person that I wanted to be in my life. And it was in receiving my purpose statement and my values that I recognized that I needed to be those things for myself.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And then once you're
And
that for
that has,
yourself, then you can be that for others too.
yes, and that has made all the difference.
Mm-hmm.
That has made all the difference.
I totally get that. Yeah, that's wonderful. And yeah, very much the same experience for myself too. Because the truth is that the things that we need the most are the things that we are uniquely designed to give the most of. And I'm going to say that again for anyone listening, because that's a hard one to get your head around if you've not heard it before. And sometimes it's hard to accept. It's hard to hear.
Yeah.
Because it suggests that there's something that we're not taking responsibility for. I'm going to say that again. The things that we need the most are the things that we are uniquely designed to give the most of. And that's why you're saying what you're saying, Tiffany, in terms of giving that to yourself first.
Mm-hmm.
So that then you can be more of that person to others, right? And it is
absolutely
living intentionally in alignment with our purpose and our values is, and bringing this into life, putting it into practice in your everyday life, creating a relationship with your purpose, creating a relationship with your values is done in putting it into action. And that's what creates the meaning in your life.
Yeah.
It's that living intentionally in alignment that creates meaning. And it's the meaning that brings the fulfillment. It's the meaning that we search for. Because, if we're stuck in a job that we don't enjoy or that we don't feel connected with, like you were saying earlier, Tiff, it doesn't seem like this means, I want to be in a job that means something to me. I want to do something meaningful with my life.
Right.
And that meaning comes from intentionally living in alignment with our purpose and our values. And if we don't do that, what's going to happen, Tiff? Tell them. Because, we feel so passionately about that. But what happens?
Yeah. Well, you never experience your life as having meaning. You continue to be stuck in this place that is so unfulfilling and knowing that there's more for you in life. And your circumstances will continue to stop you from creating the business that you really want to create. And again, even if you don't know exactly what that is right now.
Damn, we spent so long there, man. We spent so long.
Absolutely. And you don't have to know exactly what that is. But what you have to know is who you are, so that you can move in a direction that's in alignment and have a conversation with life that will guide you to the place of knowing what that is.
Amen.
Which has also been our experience.
Yes, totally. It's a fixed point of reference. It's a beacon of light calling you home.
Yes. And it always is. And I think that's the other thing that I wanted to say earlier, actually, about being intentional. So once you've uncovered your purpose and your values, again, based in the evidence of your life, because you're too close to it to see it, your purpose and your values are something that are playing out in your life all the time. Just because you don't have it written down on paper doesn't mean it doesn't exist. But what uncovering it does for you is it makes the intangible tangible.
Yeah.
It gives you an opportunity to intentionally live into your purpose and your values instead of just doing it sort of by accident, because it's who you are and taking that for granted. right?
Totally. Like, taking ourselves for granted is the source of the belief, I don't have anything to offer. Why would anyone listen to me?
Yeah.
What have I got to offer, And that's the doubt. That's the doubt right there. So it's uncovering these things in the evidence that removes the doubt. It has to be uncovered in evidence. It cannot be pulled out of air because we think it sounds good.
Right.
Because you will doubt that. But you
Yes.
cannot doubt what has been uncovered in the empirical evidence of your past.
Yes.
You cannot doubt that. But that happened. You were there.
Right. So the problems you're facing is spending another year, another 2 years.
Yeah, right.
Even like I said before, even another 6 months, not creating business that's been calling you, and you know that it's been calling you. Spending more of your very precious time, money, and energy just chasing your tail and hoping and wishing that the next book or the next course or the next certification will finally be the answer, and just also feeling like you're just washing money down the drain.
Yeah, right. And the thing is, the longer all of this goes on, the more demoralized you become. You kind of just start to lose listening for yourself as well. You start to not trust your own decisions. And now it even becomes, I reached that point as well, I reached a point where I couldn't even move because I was so unhappy, but I so didn't trust my decisions because I wasn't following through on stuff. I wasn't creating that business, that I was like, I couldn't even break out of that unhappy situation because I'm like, whatever I do isn't going to work.
Yes.
I was like, what a terrible place to be unhappy, to want to do something about it, and then have the belief that whatever you do isn't going to work. Where's that going to take me? And I can tell you, it didn't take me to a very nice place. Right. And, the longer that goes on, the more demoralized you become. And basically it can take you to a place that can break you. It could destroy your health. It could destroy your relationships. It could absolutely stamp out and squash your dreams for sure. And your life could never be anything other than what you can just see right in front of you right now. At best.
Right. So we like to leave you with nice little quotes that kind of wrap up what it is that we've been talking about.
We love a quote.
We'll leave you with a quote by Viktor Frankl, who wrote a book called Man's Search for Meaning. And it's a really good one. If you haven't listened, this is how I consume books these days. If you haven't read that book, we would highly recommend it. But he says, when a person can't find a deep sense of meaning, they distract themselves with pleasure.
And that's how we find ourselves continuously looking for something to take that feeling away, continuously looking for the next book, the next course, the next certification, the next big thing that's going to be the quick fix to this feeling of more. This feeling, that we know we're here to do something. We know we want our own business. And we just want something to just fix that problem for us, don't we? But because we don't have the meaning in our life, we find ourselves getting distracted by the shiny objects, distracted by desire and pleasure.
Yes.
And I think it's Jordan Peterson as well. It reminds me of something he said in one of his recent books. I think one of his rules in his 12 Rules for Life book was, do what is meaningful, not what is expedient. So don't take the quick fix ever.
Yes.
Because if something's meaningful, it will always present difficulty and challenge. There's no such thing as a quick fix. There's no such thing as a painless path. There will be pain on every single path you take. There will be challenge and bumps in the road, whichever road you take. We just need to know which is the right road for us, choose it and stick to it. Because when we know it's the right road, it doesn't matter what comes up in our way. We know we're on the right road, and we know we've got what it takes to stick to that path and get through it no matter what. But the things that stop us is that we doubt that we're on the right path. So then when difficulty arises, we backtrack and we try another path, expecting it to be more pleasurable, as Viktor Frankl is saying. But the meaning is in knowing who you are and taking yourself through the difficult times and the good times, no matter what.
Which is just bringing me back to the title of this podcast, which is that emulating the success of others is the worst way to follow your calling. And back to, what is it that you're looking for? Are you looking for success, or are you looking for fulfillment? Because you can go out there and emulate what other people are doing and you can make money. There's a great possibility that you can do that.
Yeah.
You can maybe be whatever you define as successful in doing that, but will you be fulfilled?
It's a quality question. The quality of our life is determined by the quality of questions we ask ourselves. And that is a quality question. Am I looking for success, or am I looking for fulfillment?
Yes. So we'll wrap this up for today. And just to let everybody know, again, we will be continuing this conversation in the Guardians Lounge, which is exclusive to our Follow the Calling podcast community on Facebook. And in that space, we regularly invite 2 community members to join us. So if you're interested in being part of the continuing conversation, make sure that you go ahead and join the Facebook community and watch our welcome video for further instructions. You will be able to find that link in our show notes. And as always, if you like this episode, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. We would be so grateful.
So Tiff, how does it get better than this? And what else is possible, huh?
Yes. Until next time, everyone. Bye for now.
See you later, guys. Cheers, Tiff.
Thank you for showing up for yourself and exploring this space with us. We are a stand for you to follow your calling, whatever that might be.
Be sure to subscribe, and if you're interested in playing with the concepts we share on this podcast and you'd like to continue this conversation with us, we invite you to join us in the Follow the Calling podcast community on Facebook, and you can find the link for that in the show notes.